Oh, jam! Hello again and welcome to the Mana Pool. This is episode 517 of the Mana Pool, and I have nothing to add to that. I am Chewy, the lead dork, and with me, dorks.
I am Brian, the lead rambler, tangent master of the group. I am with Chewy, as always, and I don't like bugs. Maybe somebody out there does, but I don't like bugs. Not a fan. Remember the scorpion from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? That thing gave me nightmares.
Oh, now I do. Thanks for that.
Oh, wow. I'm Mike. I'm the rules guy and the game lore guy. And when Chewy mentioned the number of the episode, I decided to try to think about something we haven't done in a while. So 5 ones for 7. The best I could come up with on such short notice was a dripping dead with a bone saw.
Dripping Dead's a 6-1?
No, dripping dead is a 4-1.
Isn't bone saw plus 1 plus 0?
Yeah, so he's a 5-1 for 7 because it costs 6, and then
where did I get 7-1 from? I'm just stupid. Don't listen to me.
I don't know.
From the future.
Way into the future.
I must be contagious. if now you're mixing up numbers.
Dyslexia setting in.
Something.
And I'm Dirk, the self-proclaimed greenest man alive and moral compass of the group. And I, apparently, based on what Chewy says, I am a Cheaty McCheaty face.
Yes. But that's okay.
We'll talk about why later.
So, first things first, this is breaking news today, but before we even get to that, we need to mention some things from last episode. First, it was pointed out to us that we completely forgot to mention the new font, the Balearan font, and the new tweaks to the card frame from Magic Origins. Was that Origins? Or was that 15?
Yeah, that was Origins. Oh, wait. Now I don't remember.
Now I don't
Maybe
either.
It was 15. Crap.
I want to say yes.
It was one of those, yes.
The thing is, that was such a non-event for us that it just completely slipped our minds.
I mean, it's kind of neat that they came up with their own font, but...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just didn't even occur to us at all. Also, the episode had gone way longer than intended.
Mm-hmm.
Although we stayed on topic the entire episode, so the episode was as long as it needed to be. But we were trying to wrap things up, and when we got to the end, we're like, that was recent enough, whatever. So, sorry about that. But Mike had something else that he realized that we screwed up.
Yeah, there were 2 other things. One was that we mentioned that there were, for a period of time, they would label the sets with like 3 different levels of complexity. And I think at the time we said the levels were beginner, intermediate, advanced, but that wasn't right. The levels were beginner, advanced, and expert. Advanced was the middle one, not the last one. And then the other thing that I realized when I was listening back to it, at one point I said that they used to introduce like templating and rules changes in the expansion set before the core set came out, and that was just wrong because I was getting in my head mixed. I mixed that one up too. But I was getting certain things mixed up in my head because I was remembering that Urza's Destiny, the last set of the Urza's block, had the templating changes that were put into place for Classic 6th edition. But that wasn't because it was done in Destiny first and then 6th edition was released. Oh man, am I screwing this up too? Now I don't. I don't even remember anymore. Now I can't remember whether the core set would come out before the last set of the expansion block or after. So I have no idea about whether I'm correcting myself or whether I'll need to correct this statement next episode. Who knows? One of those 2 things is true. I'll leave that as an exercise for the listener to figure out which one. Because obviously I can't do it correctly.
Ask your parents.
Jeez.
Yeah, so, sorry about that. But, as for breaking news today, by the way, is Thursday, the 12th of July, because we record these on Thursday. I get them all put together on Friday, and they go out to the early release people, patrons and whatnot, and then they go public on Sunday. But this is breaking as of recording. on the Magic Twitch channel, there was some Commander 2019 preview. Is it 2018? 2018 edition?
Yeah, 2018 edition.
Okay, so the core set is labeled a year ahead, but the Commander isn't. Got it. Right, because that doesn't matter. Okay, so this is so confusing. The Commander 2018 stuff, some stuff was shown off today, and we were very excited. We were going to make it a large part of the episode.
Yeah,
and then
it's gonna be great.
Yeah, and then we saw what it was, and we went, guess we're having a short episode. So on the stream, they had a brief little thing where they told us what the decks are. And the decks are Exquisite Intervention, a blue-red artifact deck. Ooh. Nature's Vengeance, a Jund, that's black-red-green, lands deck. Okay. Adaptive Enchantment. This is Bant Enchantments. Or Bant is blue, white, blue, green. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Subjective Reality, which is an Esper, white, blue, black, top of the deck matters deck. And then they showed us some art.
Yay, some art.
We got 6 pieces of art here. We've got a knight on a horse with a sword and a shield.
And some kind of city on fire behind her.
And some kind of city on fire behind her. She has a lion motif, her helmet, and on her horse's headgear. I don't know what you call that on a horse. The horse helmet. Face mask. I don't know. Is it his head or his face? Is that racist? Look at my horse. My horse is amazing. We've got a spider. An utterly, horribly, disgustingly terrifying spider that is Jund colored, oddly enough. I don't like that at all. We've got the art makes me think this is a planeswalker, just based on the shape and the fact that there's nothing going on the bottom half where the text would be. I don't know if it is or not though, but she's a bald lady with lots of animal masks floating around her. And that's...
And the masks look like they're either made out of water or glass or ice or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or they're spectral masks or something. They're blue. Huh. We've got an obviously from Theros enchantment woman.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is supposed to be one of the gods. I mean, she doesn't look like any of the gods.
Yeah, I don't think it's one of the existing ones because Ifara isn't an agricultural god, and there's not enough green in her art design for it to be Karametra. So it must be some other, maybe a new demigod, or maybe just a random spirit.
Just an enchantment creature,
just a random harvest spirit. Yeah,
It's
neat. I just now noticed that her hair also looks like the wheat in the field.
Yeah.
Oh,
cool.
It does. Oh, that's cool.
Wasn't that one of the things that the satyr guy was not a god, but he somehow was able to make himself a god?
the Xenagos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was a fairly long process that he had to really kind of plan and take
Took a lot of
steps
effort
to do. So,
Okay.
but that's a good observation. So,
And then we have an insanely creepy little girl in a swamp.
surrounded by moths.
Yeah. I just noted, what is that on her head?
A net? Is that a net?
Oh, I meant,
Yeah, like a black veil of some sort,
I meant like her forehead. What
or like a
what is that
tiara of some
symbol?
sort.
She's definitely wearing some kind of veil, and that could be light reflecting off of her head, but it almost looks like a skull or something.
Or like a diadem or something.
Yeah.
Maybe?
I'm pretty sure that veil is a net because you see the weights on the corners.
Yeah, I was gonna say those are definitely
Yeah.
the weights or hooks or something, rings where you would put a pole through it to carry whatever you catch.
Mm-hmm.
She scares me. And then,
Yeah.
oddly, the least scary of the arts is some zombies on Innistrad.
I mean, you just see it, and it's not bad. It's not bad at all. it fits into art that we have seen before. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The style of it,
like
the coloring.
zombies.
It looks like Innistrad zombies.
Yeah. The only reason we're sure it's from Innistrad is because, as Brian pointed out, I think it was Brian, as soon as he saw it, oh look, there's Avacyn's collar on a tombstone in the background. But I do like the purple lighting and whatnot in this picture.
Yeah.
Seriously though, I think the little creepy swamp girl might be more terrifying than the giant terrifying spider.
Yeah.
It's like a giant terrifying spider, that's easy, you kill it with fire, and you move on with your life, and you get counseling. But a little girl in the swamp, oh no, a little girl in the swamp, let's help her, and then she eats your soul.
Mm-hmm. Well, the one thing also is that it looks like she's holding a flower, but it looks like it's kind of glowing or on fire or something like that too. So,
is that one of the moths that she's making glow? Maybe
That's possible.
and she's also got a stick.
Yeah, long white stick.
To poke you with. after she eats your soul and your husk is just laying there, she'll poke it with a stick.
well, the whole thing was, isn't there a Japanese story about a woman who would entice couples down to the river and then she would drag them under and drown them because she was, something about seeing happy couples, was something that she was supposed to be in a previous life, but then she dragged them out because she had died prematurely or something.
Mm-hmm.
There's some sort of Japanese story of that sort.
And I'm certain there are also like Central and Eastern European ones like that too.
Mm-hmm.
Where spirits like that show up in a lot of cultures.
Yeah, but this definitely looks as though it's just a little girl in the pond, and you're just like, "Hi, little girl, are you okay? Do you need me to take your?" And then she next thing you know, you're underwater drowning, and you just wish those zombies were there because at least you knew your ending would be there. Here, it's just kind of creep you out. The art is amazing though on the little girl picture though. It's very detailed.
Yeah. So there you go. That's what we got. 4 deck names and what they are, and 6 pieces of art. And I'm allergic to that little girl.
Mm-hmm.
Ow. So, with that, I guess we'll stop. So, final thoughts? No, wait. I will leave a link to a Reddit post that sums all this up, because Wizards seems to be opposed to putting news in text form anymore. They're like, it was on the live stream. I'm like, yeah, well, if we didn't watch the live stream, and we don't have 20, it was like an hour and change long stream. The actual commander part, it took me 5 minutes to find it, because it was so tiny.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what's this? They're cracking a pack. What's this? That's Numot, the nummy. Look at him. Okay, what's this? This is the end. What? Where is the commander? What's this? Because I kept expecting to see cards. There's no cards. But anyway, so with that, we're gonna do something else. So Core Set 2019 is about to release, and we were like, you know what? Let's do a story circle with one of the legendary creatures from 2019. Awesome. And I looked at all the legendary creatures from Core Set 2019, and I went, or we could not, because they're kind of the like they're awesome and cool and whatnot, but for the purposes of a story circle, and if you listened to, I think it was last week's Odds and Ends, which might be up by the time you hear this, they're not the best for that. Like, the Elder Dragons are all really cool, but for being a commander that we build around, none of them. Like I said before the show, we better be sure you put this in a deck with an opponent that has permanence. Or put this in a deck with, I don't know,
cards you can discard.
Yeah. The only one that's really terribly built around me is Arcades, and he's kind of put it in a deck with walls with big asses. Done. So, But that made me realize we hadn't done any story circles with the Battlebond legendaries. Ooh. Ahem. Ooh.
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 Okay, close enough.
Ooh.
And when we first realized that, I was kind of surprised that we hadn't. And I was almost like, wait a minute. Yeah, we did. I tried to look for one, and nope.
Nope.
There wasn't one there.
So, I looked over all of these, and I think the obvious ones are obvious, like Sylvia and Korvoth. They're like, play dragons and knights, yay! So that's a bit meh. So we settled on Pir, imaginative rascal, and Toothy, imaginary friend. So Pir, imaginative rascal. Hey, Dirk.
Yes.
Tell us what Pir does.
So Pir, imaginative rascal, is a 2 for 2 and a green. He is a human that's a 1/1. He partners with Toothy, imaginary friend. If one or more counters would be put on a permanent your team controls, that many +1 of each of those kinds of counters are put on that permanent instead.
Seems good.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's supposed to get 1 counter, it gets 2 counters. If it's supposed to get 3 counters, it gets 4 counters, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And that's any kind of counter.
On your permanents.
Yes.
Which is why I got
Key thing on your permanents.
Which is why I got Dirk to read it, because he was like, "Oh, what about no, Dirk, your permanents? Damn it!" Oh, but what? How does that?
What about
No,
if we did?
Oh.
No. Dang it.
So, hey Brian, tell us what Toothy does.
Toothy. Why is this art like? It's like popping. I'm trying to look at it, and the thing is like popping out of the art. I can't see the mana cost. That's what I get for trying to look at it that way. Shoot. Well, Toothy, imaginative friend, I think is what. I don't know what's up with this card frame I'm looking at.
What are you looking at?
What are you looking at? Just look in Gatherer, man.
I was trying to go through the card image gallery, and for some reason it was on the front page, but it was covered up. Toothy, imaginary friend, for 3 and a blue. It's a 1/1 legendary illusion. Yay! It partners with Pir. Whenever you draw a card, put a +1/+1 counter on Toothy, imaginary friend. And when Toothy leaves the battlefield, draw a card for each +1/+1 counter on it. So he likes it when you draw cards, and when he leaves the battlefield, whether he dies or gets bounced or exiled or goes to the command zone, perhaps, he's going to draw you more cards. So draw to draw to draw.
Seems good. So there you go. We're going to Story Circle with Pir and Toothy to start off with. So, what? Now, I know Dirk was cheating.
Yes, I was.
So, hey Dirk, you got anything to start us off with, Mr. Cheaty Face?
Well, I thought if we're gonna have fun, then we might as well have fun to the extreme, and included doubling season.
Oh my
Dirk,
God.
what's the meaning of subtlety? Oh, wait. He doesn't know that. Hey, Mike, what's the meaning of subtlety? No. Okay. I mean, it fits well. It fits well with both of the creatures. So.
Mm-hmm. Come dig it up real quick so I don't mess this up. There it is, doubling season. It's an enchantment for 4 and a green. If an effect would create 1 or more tokens under your control, it creates twice that many of those tokens instead. An effect would put 1 or more counters on a permanent you control. It puts twice that many of those counters on that permanent instead.
Okay. Very nice.
So you know how you were going to get, 1 counter and Pir, correct?
Yeah.
I'm trying to make sure I say his name correctly.
Oh man, during the odds and ends, Dirk said his name in every way possible except for Pir. It was really
Yeah, that's
funny.
Right. But Pir gives you, 1 more. So if you were going to get 1, you get 2. Doubling season says, why don't you get 4?
Well, okay, so this is interesting
Wait,
because
is that how it works?
Well,
That is a question. Say it one more time.
let-
If you So if you were going to get 1, Pir is going to give you that many plus 1, so that's 2.
Mm-hmm.
So would doubling season mean you get 4? So you would get...
Yes.
Oh gosh. So
you
yeah,
actually
would
get to
4.
choose. You actually get to choose whether you get 3 or 4.
Oh, okay.
Since you control the thing that's being affected, you get to decide what order to apply the replacement effects.
So
if you apply doubling season first, it'll be 1 doubles to 2 plus 1 is 3. If you apply Pir first, it'll be 1 plus 1 is 2 doubled is 4.
My head hurts.
So that's interesting.
So you're going to get 2, you get the 4 plus Pir would give you 6.
Let's say I've got Pir.
Mm-hmm. Wouldn't that be the... Let's go with Brian's thing and we'll come back to me.
So let's say I have Pir out and I play doublings. Next turn, I play Walking Ballista for X would be 1.
Uh-huh.
So normally it would come in with 1 plus 1 plus 1 count. What are my possibilities then, Mike?
Either 3 or 4, like we were talking about earlier.
That's what I wanted to figure. So if I apply doubling season first, then it says X is 1, but it comes in with an extra counter, and then Pir says, hey, you're getting counters, add 1 to that. If Pir resolves first and he goes, hey, you're coming in with a counter, let me add 1 to that, and then doubling season says, oh, you're coming in with 2 counters, let's double that 4.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
And there's a really interesting interaction between Pir and doubling season and planeswalkers. And this is due to a rules change back when, I'm pretty sure it was back when Kalitas was still in Standard, and the existing rules at the time were making weird, unintuitive things happen with interacting with some token making effects. So if you use a Planeswalker's Plus ability, now doubling season says effect, so normally doubling season wouldn't change that. Like if you activated a Planeswalker's +1, doubling season wouldn't touch that. You just get 1 more.
Okay.
But Pir doesn't care. So Pir will actually add another 1.
Right.
And then because you applied Pir's replacement effect, now doubling season can be applied.
Whoa.
That is an official ruling that I have read an official judge source write down. This is not me making up something. That I think is correct. This is official.
Oh my gosh.
Crazy.
I guess I feel not so bad about having the blue and green planeswalkers open in a gatherer search over here. Because I totally do.
Well, I mean, it says permanent. Pir says permanent, so...
Mhm.
Well, I knew that Pir would work with planeswalkers. That wasn't a question. But the whole doubling season thing makes my head hurt.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you apply Pir's replacement effect, well, then the event is something that doubling season can be applied to.
But
So if a planeswalker has a +1 ability, they can get 2 counters. They get 2, right?
Pir will add 1. So if only doubling season is on the board, then they'll just get 1.
Right.
If only Pir is on the board, then they'll get 2.
Oh my god.
And then if both are on the board, they'll actually get 4.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
All right, so the question I had before is, so if you get, let's say I have domesticated Hydra coming in and I'm going to monstrosity it for 2.
Yes.
I get the 2, it's going to get 2 plus 1 counters.
Mhm.
Doubling season is going to give it 2 more, so that's 4. And then Pir is going to give it 2 more because he's going to give it a +1. He's going to give him a +1, and then doubling season doubles that also, so he gets 6.
The result is right. The details weren't, but the result is right.
Okay.
So you either do all of one, you choose which order. You either do Pir first or you do doubling season first, but it doesn't jump back and forth. So like, if you're going to add 2, let's run through this real quick for listeners, even though they're sick of the math section already. So if you're going to add 2, you can either go, okay, Pir says, here's an extra one. So now it's 3 and doubling season gives you 6. Or you go doubling season, you add 2, doubling season goes, oh, double that, so it's 4, and then Pir adds 1. Is that right?
Right, okay.
yes, you either end up with 5 or 6. Are we ready to keep moving?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I am. My head,
Okay.
my head, like literally hurts. But now my thinking head hurts. Like,
So far we've got Pir and Toothy, and Dirk's first suggestion was doubling season. My first suggestion is going to be a relatively new card. It's from Rivals of Ixalan, and when I saw what we were doing, this actually jumped right to mind. It's Hadana's Climb. It's a legendary enchantment. It's one of the double face cards. For 1, a blue and a green, it's a legendary enchantment. At the beginning of combat on your turn, whether you attack with anybody or not, before you even get to that point, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. It's not a may, you have to do it. Then, if that creature has 3 or more +1/+1 counters on it, transform Hadana's Climb. So before we even get to the second half, with either Pir or doubling season out, you're already getting a decent amount of counters every turn. With just one of either out, at the beginning of combat, one of your creatures is getting 2 +1/+1 counter. It's going to add up a lot. When it flips, it turns into the Winged Temple of Orazka. Legendary land, you can tap it for 1 mana of any color, which is always good, or you can pay 1 a blue and a green and tap this land. Target creature you control gets flying and gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is its power. Now, obviously, that's great. You've got some big guys. You want to give one of them flying. Smash, smash. If you've got Toothy out and somebody's like Doomblade Toothy, you can go, hey, maybe Toothy has a couple +1/+1 counters. Let's say he's a 4/4. Now he's an 8/8. Now he's going to die. I'm going to draw 8 cards. Right? Or is Toothy the number of +1/+1 counters on? Is it power or?
That's the counters.
That's the counter. Oh, okay. See, I was trying to get too clever for my own good, but still flying smashy face. So I still stand by it.
I mean, it seems pretty good.
So that's my contribution thus far. What's somebody else got?
Yeah, Mike, what you got? You're so smart.
All right. The first one I want to mention is one of the first things that came to mind. And it only took a few seconds more to realize that in true Mike fashion, it's something that might cause you to draw so many cards that you just lose.
Nice.
If you get into a certain situation. So Mind Unbound
Jesus.
is it's a blue enchantment for 4 blue. It's from M12. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a lore counter on Mind Unbound. Then draw a card for each lore counter on Mind Unbound.
Ugh. Mike, you're going to mill yourself. You know that, right?
Yeah, so if this and Toothy are on the battlefield at the same time, you might accidentally get yourself into a situation where your opponent's like, bounce Toothy, you lose.
That's fun.
If it were me, I'd be like, worth it, but I don't know if everyone out there would be on board with that, so be careful.
The point of the game is to draw all the cards, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the first one to draw their entire deck wins, right? Which reminds me, did you see the new Hearthstone card?
Yes. Somehow I was like, he's going to mention it.
I looked at it and I'm like, what?
It's so Rogue can burn all the cards in their decks.
Anyway,
I get that.
So,
Right.
Okay, so I was already looking at Planeswalkers because of what Pir does.
Right.
And then Dirk said doubling season, and I went, oh, neat. And then Mike did what he did and made my brain fall out.
Okay.
So I'm trying to figure out which of these Planeswalkers really needs to go in the deck. And I think that I have to go with Jace Cunning Castaway. What, you all right, Mike?
So many.
Yeah, I was
Jaces.
trying to do a but something was wrong with my throat the first time, and it came out like.
Way to go.
So Jace, as a reminder, for 1 blue, starts with 3 loyalty. For his +1 is whenever 1 or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player this turn, draw a card, then discard a card. Ding. Toothy. His -2, create a 2/2 blue illusion creature token with when this becomes the target of spell, sacrifice it. Ding. Doubling season. And then his -5, his limit break, as it were, is create 2 tokens that are copies of Jace Cunning Castaway, except they're not legendary.
Which with doubling season means
4.
make 4 copies.
Yeah. Yeah, isn't that great?
That's one word for it. Another is insane. What are we even doing here? This is crazy.
So that's my first choice.
Okay. That comes right back around again to Dirk.
All right. Well, I think I'm going to go with one that is a fairly big utility creature. Let me go dig up his text, but the creature I'm thinking of is the Feral Throwback.
But
Huh.
wait, doesn't he have Amplify?
He does.
Okay, so
Feral
Dirk is forcing us to play beasts. Got it.
Well, I mean, that's not a bad thing.
There's plenty of those in blue and green.
Yeah. But the Feral Throwback, the reason why I was thinking of this was for 4 and 2 green, it's a 3/3 beast with Amplify of 2, so whenever it enters the battlefield, put 2 +1/+1 counters on it for each beast card you reveal, so even 1 beast would be a big deal. You would end up with 6, potentially. And it has Provoke. Provoke was a thing that when Brian and I started, well, actually when our whole play group got started, Provoke is a great ability. Provoke is whenever this creature attacks, you may have target creature defending player controls untap and block it if able. So that means that you can have Feral Throwback selectively attack an opponent's creatures. Because do you know how there's those creatures like Platinum Angel that really the whole point is for it to just sit back and not do anything?
Mm-hmm.
Feral Throwback says, let's fight. You and me, bro. So that's sort of the thing I thought about that it would be interesting with doubling season, or even just, again, getting an extra +1/+1 counter from Pir would be that you could, make him bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And by no means do you have to throw it in there, but, if you do decide to roll beasts, because just in this lineup of stuff with counters, there are a lot of beasts.
There are.
Nice. All right, so hey, Brian, what you got?
Well, I was actually wondering if I wanted to do a little something with what Dirk has kind of set up for us here. And I was like, what blue beasts are there? And there's some really good blue beasts. And some really weird blue beasts. I'm looking at you, Sand Squid. But there's some interesting things here.
Sandsquid's like, what'd I do?
But I think what I'm I think what I'm gonna go with here is, he said, totally not stalling for time. I'm actually gonna go with Trigon Predator, because for 1 a blue and a green, it is a 2/3 flying beast, so it's got built-in evasion, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may destroy target artifact or enchantment that player controls. It's a good way to kind of, every multiplayer game is going to have some sort of oppressive artifact or enchantment. I could sit here and name a couple, but the listeners probably named 3 or 4 by the time I'm even done speaking. So this is a good way of disrupting and dealing with some of the stuff that maybe not everybody packs removal for. And it's a beast, and like Dirk said, we don't have to go in the beast angle, but it is there. It's in color. It's maybe not the splashiest, craziest card, but combined with ways to put +1/+1 counters on it, which it doesn't have any inherent ones, but I'm sure that we're going to have more in the deck. It's already got decent stats. It's got built-in flying, so that's not a bad thing. So Trigon Predator.
Is that spelled with an I or a Y?
Why?
With a Y.
Got it.
Next, that's Mike.
All right. Related to what Chewy mentioned earlier, I want to suggest the original Jace Bellerin. Works pretty well with both Pir and Toothy. for 1 blue, starts on 3 loyalty. The +2 is each player draws a card. The -1 is target player draws a card. And then the -10 is mill someone for 20. But really, it's the first 2 abilities that are important for this deck.
Yeah. Yeah, that seems pretty good.
Yeah. I think people forget about him sometimes. He's still a good card.
He's still a very good card. Good old baby.
Baby. Okay, so I'm going to do one more Planeswalker.
Okay.
That works, of course it works with Pir because it's Planeswalker, but it works really well with Toothy and, of course, the old doubling season. Kiora the Crashing Wave.
Yay.
For 2 a green and a blue, she starts with 2 loyalty, because apparently she's fragile. Her +1, until your next turn, prevent all damage that would be dealt to and dealt by target permanent and opponent controls. Because in Commander, there's always that guy who's, like, trying to load up on one thing and murder people, right?
Right.
Yep. That's how it works.
Yeah. -1. Draw a card. Toothy. You may play an additional land this turn. Excellent. And then -5. You get an emblem with, at the beginning of your end step, create a 9/9 blue Kraken. Yay.
But what if you got an extra one?
Thank you, Mike. That's why I said it that way. So yeah, there you go. Because you don't want to load up poor Toothy too much, because someone bounces him and then, you die, like Mike said.
Yeah.
So, all right, what else we got? Dirk.
All right. So I'm going to pick my creature, and you'll have to wait till it gets back to me because when I say this creature and then I get to the one that he's going to be sort of plays
Why don't you
into,
just tell us both?
Okay.
Why don't you just go, not to steal your thunder, but...
Yeah, but we don't have all day.
Okay. So my first one is Forgotten Ancient.
Yay.
Because why not? So Forgotten Ancient is for 3 and a green. It's an elemental that's a 0/3. Whenever a player casts a spell, you may put a +1/+1 counter on Forgotten Ancient. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may move any number of +1/+1 counters from Forgotten Ancient onto other creatures. But that's not the main reason, but it's begin with Doubling Season and Pir doing his thing and everything. But the reason why I say this is because this works very well.
I have amnesia.
Go away, you. Is the other card is Ooze Flux.
Ooze Flux?
Oh, yeah.
Ooze Flux. That's a name I haven't heard since...
A long time ago.
What in the hell is an Ooze Flux? I don't even know this card.
It's one from the Return to Innistrad. Or not Return to Innistrad, it's Return to Ravnica. It was in my deck.
Flux.
And that's the reason why.
Oh.
Yeah, that one. So for Ooze Flux, for 3 and a green, it's an enchantment. For 1 and a green, remove 1 or more +1/+1 counters from among creatures you control. Create an XX green ooze creature token where X is the number of +1/+1 counters removed this way.
It only costs 1 and a green to use at any time. You can do it in response to anything.
Right.
That's funny.
I was literally doing a search in Gatherer for how to remove tokens in case you get Toothy up to the point where he's going to kill you. And Dirk just busts it out, the best option.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. And combined with Forgotten Ancient, which Forgotten Ancient, is just bomb diggity. I love Forgotten Ancient.
Yeah. And Forgotten Ancient's interaction with Pir is really cool because he gets extra counters from his ability. And when he moves counters, everyone that he moves stuff to gets an extra counter.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Well, I feel like we got to have a bit of a, break ink glass in case of emergency thing. So I'm going to submit Laboratory Maniac. Laboratory Maniac. For 2 and a blue, this guy's from, I think, original Innistrad.
Yes.
You might recognize him if you've seen the tokens, because, this guy's me and I'm him. He's a 2/2 human wizard. if you would draw a card while your library has no cards in it, you win the game instead.
Yay!
So, hey, Mike, go crazy. Draw all the cards. It's all good.
Yes, sir.
Now, of course, someone might bolt this in response, but, nothing ventured, nothing gained. And it's more there to be like, hey, and I'd be surprised if we didn't have at least some reshuffling effect in the deck just to be safe otherwise. I'm not going to name those cards in case someone else wants to mention it if they're out of ideas, but we're going to have ways to make sure that we don't deck ourselves until and unless we are ready, like with a maniac. He's a maniac, but not on the dance
Maniac
floor.
on the dance floor.
So, Laboratory Maniac. Mike?
When Brian mentioned Trigon Predator, that made me think of maybe other utility cards.
Okay.
And Scavenging Ooze is a good one to remember.
Ooh.
Yeah. So Scavenging Ooze for 1 and a green is a 2/2 ooze. And also Dirk's Ooze Flux got me thinking about it. Has an ability, 1 green, exile target card from a graveyard. If it was a creature card, put a +1/+1 counter on Scavenging Ooze and you gain 1 life. People are always doing wacky stuff with graveyards and Commander, so might as well have something.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And it gets +1/+1 counters.
Nice.
So, I'm still looking for ways that remove counters. I'm not finding anything in blue and green that doesn't suck.
Yeah, there aren't very many.
Weird. Well, there you go. Just don't let your Toothy kill you. So, while we're on utility creatures, this is the thing we mentioned, or Dirk mentioned at the beginning, or before the show, while he was cheating. He was like, oh god, Graft. Graft was weird. And I went, oh my god, Wall of Hats for days. Because Graft works with Pir. For instance, the Vigian Hydropon, the Wall of Hats, for 1, a green and a blue, is a 0/0 plant mutant with Graft 5. That means that it enters the battlefield with 5 +1/+1 counters. But Pir, so it enters the battlefield with 6 +1/+1 counters. You don't even have to get into the stupidity that is doubling season, because we know. The other part of Graft is whenever another creature enters the battlefield, you may move a +1/+1 counter from this creature onto it. So it just hands out hats. That's the name, Wall of Hats. Now, it can't attack or block, so it's not really a wall, but still. But with Pir, it's actually Graft 5 +1, so it's a 6/6. And then when it hands out a hat, it's handing out 2 hats. So the creature gets 2 +1/+1 counters.
Nice.
So it's double the hats, double the fun. And if you get the stupid doubling season, then it's like sextuple the hats or something. I don't know. I'm not doing the math again. It makes my head hurt. So yes, Vigian Hydropon for the win. Wall of Hats.
And Graft in general is just a really good choice, especially if you plan on doing team-based games with this stuff, because Pir specifies, anything that we put on permanents your team controls, and the way Graft works, Graft technically triggers for every single creature that enters the battlefield. So you can also hand counters from Graft creatures to your opponent's creatures that enter. I mean, not to your teammates, or opponents if you really want to, but that's not the point.
Yeah, what if they have a Toothy and you're trying to deck them with?
Oh, I got it. Toothy donate. There we go.
Ding.
There's the deck.
Toothy donate boomerang. Wait. Let me read Toothy.
Yeah. Leaves the battlefield.
When it leaves the battlefield, yeah.
Wow.
That's probably not this deck though, but still. So there you go. Wall of Hats for me. Dirk, what you got?
One that I just looked up that I think is kind of interesting is Vivian of the Arcbow.
Damn it.
Oh, she's a new one.
If you want, I can pick another one.
No,
No. I said damn it because I was going to pull her out later, but yeah.
Oh,
she's
okay.
from the new core set.
Sort of. She's from the Planeswalker decks.
Oh, she's that version.
Yeah, she's the
Okay.
B team.
Well, why don't you
Vivian.
tell us what she does then?
Yes.
So She for 4 and 2 green, legendary planeswalker. First ability is a +2. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on up to 1 target creature. Second ability is a -3. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. That would be Toothy. Particularly at the rate we're going. Toothy should be a big,
Yeah.
big whatever adjective you want to throw in following that. So Toothy should be able to just grin and swallow an Eldrazi for all we're doing. And the final ability is a -9. Creatures you control get +4/+4 and gain trample until end of turn. So she's sort of like a souped up version of Garrick.
Except way more expensive. And
Well,
yeah.
One thing to sort of throw out real quick, in terms of the drawing cards, as long as you have the mana, wouldn't Words of Wild work as a dump?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it will keep you from drawing new cards.
Yeah, it will. Dirk's talking about, earlier you were trying to find ways to save yourself from bounce
From a
Toothy.
Toothy,
From kill Toothy, you lose, yeah.
From decking yourself. And Toothy, or Words of Wild, will at least give you an outlet, because whatever the blue one is, that one makes you draw cards, doesn't it?
No, that
it bounces
makes
things.
It does what?
It bounces things.
Yeah, everyone bounces something.
Well, that might not be a bad one either.
Okay, look, Dirk, we let you have 2 last time. Shut up.
I was just throwing that out because
Now he's trying to angle for 3. He's testing us.
Right?
Yeah.
What the hell, man?
You give a Dirk a cookie.
Well, you guys are in my colors, guys. So
That's true. This is directly up Dirk's alley.
yeah.
All right. Well, I thought about this and I was like, And I'm going to go back to a card that was in the very first pre-constructed deck I ever bought, back when they had the little theme decks you could buy, the little pre-constructed decks, before we have Planeswalker decks or anything like that. And I've loved this card for so long, and I think this is the perfect home for it. Pir, not so much, but Dublin Season really likes this. I'm going to go with Aether Mutation. That's the response I was wondering about.
I have no idea what that does.
For 3, a blue and a green. It's from Apocalypse, so it's been a little while. But 3, a blue and a green. It's a sorcery, so it costs 5. You bounce a creature to its owner's hand, and then you create X, 1/1 green sap creature tokens, where X is that creature's converted mana cost. So you can bounce your own thing, like Toothy, draw some cards, get 4 saps, which with Dublin Season out, maybe more than 4. Yeah, no, you're going to get 4 saps because that's Toothy's converted mana cost. You're going to get 4 saps. You're going to draw some number of cards, and you can replay your Toothy. Or you can, if somebody has spent resources to play a big creature, you can go, nope, that's back in your hand. And with Dublin Season, more saps. So, saps for days. And it's a good card to just have in a pinch. It's got a soft spot in my heart. Maybe I'm a sucker for it, but I keep coming back to it.
Nice.
Okay.
Hey, Mike, that's you.
All right. It's a card that I used to like playing with back in the day, but we haven't seen in a while. Rite of Passage. It's an enchantment. It costs 2 and a green. It's from 5th Dawn. Whenever a creature you control is dealt damage, put a +1/+1 counter on it. And it has a bit of reminder text. The damage is dealt before the counter is put on, so it actually has to live first.
Huh. Well, that's nice and simple.
I like it. I remember it from 5th Dawn. And because there's no way to fit the...
Did we lose Brian?
I don't know.
Oh,
No, sorry. Something was sent to the printer, so I didn't want it to be like...
No.
But there's no way to put the Mephidros Vampire in this deck, and this is kind of like the reverse Mephidros Vampire. So...
Oh my god, I got one.
What's that?
OMG. What you got?
Okay, this might actually be kind of dumb,
Go ahead.
but I'm gonna say it anyway. in case anyone wants to jump on it. Sage of Hours.
Ha!
So, Sage of Hours is a mythic from Journey into Nyx. For 1 and a blue, it's a 1/1 human wizard. And it has Heroic. Whenever you cast a spell that targets Sage of Hours, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Remind me again what Heroic was.
It's just an ability word that reminds you that something happens when you target the creature with a spell.
Okay, that's
Usually
what I thought.
like an aura or a pump spell or something.
Yeah. So it gets +1/+1 counter. With Pir, that means it gets 2. But then it says, remove all +1/+1 counters from Sage of Hours. For each 5 counters removed this way, take an extra turn after this one.
Ugh. So I'm picturing this guy with a Pir out. Let's not even go to doubling season because that's just crazy, but obviously doubling season makes everything easy. And then the Green Planeswalker that Dirk suggested, where the plus ability is put 2 +1/+1 counters on up to 1 creature. Now, Heroic won't trigger because you're not casting a spell, so you're still putting 2 +1 for Pir, 3 counters on it, just for activating a loyalty. You're not using any resources from hand. Then maybe you cast a spell at it, and boom, it gets another 2 counters, and welcome to Extra Turn Town. Population U. I like it. Sage of Hours is one of those Johnny cards that I tried to make work for a while, and at least in 1-on-1, it's too easy to just go, you're dead. But I like it. Good job, Mike.
That was
Chewy.
me.
Good job, Mike.
Man.
I'm sure that you're responsible for this brilliance in some way.
I don't ever get any credit.
Nope. Can't let your head get too big.
So that's 4 rounds. Should we stop there and do something else, or you want to go one more?
I've got another idea for this. I've got one more suggestion, but if everybody else is done.
All right, cool.
Dirk, did you have one more?
Yeah.
Dirk had at least one more.
Yeah,
I've got an entire sheet, flashcard from top to bottom on the, tilted vertical.
It is my time.
And the questions, there were some I put dash lines by that I thought they would be ones that were more interesting.
What is the one that you are most interested in talking about?
Of those, is Zuri, Claw of Progress. This is from Commander 15. I think it's one of the commanders. So it's a legendary creature, elf warrior, that's a 3/3. Whenever a creature with power 2 or less enters the battlefield under your control, you get an experience counter. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put X +1/+1 counters on another creature, target creature you control, where X is the number of experience counters you have.
Good lord.
Now, you're not going to get double.
No, this is without doubling season, but I'm just saying.
Well, your Pir will not add to your experience counters because Pir only adds to counters that are placed on permanents you control, not creatures. So he won't affect things like energy or poison.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Very interesting.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about the experience counters or anything like that. It was the experience counter. The more experience counters you have, creature enters the battlefield under your control. So if you're not going to do beasts or big creatures, if you're going to do small creatures, then he would be a good option.
Well, and both Pir and Toothy come in as small creatures, and they are always available to you. So that's pretty smart.
That's terrifying.
You think that's terrifying? My last submission is Geralf's Mind Crusher. For 4 and 2 blue, it's a 5/5 zombie horror. When it enters the battlefield, target player, Mike, player, does not have to be you, could be. Target player mills the top 5 cards of their library into their graveyard. And it has undying, meaning that when this creature dies, if it had no +1/+1 counters on it, return to the battlefield under its owner's control with a +1/+1 counter, which, thanks to Pir, doubling season et al., could very well be more than one +1/+1 counter. It's already a 5/5. When it dies, it's going to come back as a 6/6. And this might be a way to say, wow, I'm drawing a lot of cards off of Toothy. Maybe I should make sure that somebody else isn't like, I'm milling someone else so they can kind of almost keep up with me. So you could say, hey, opponent, guess what? You're down 5 cards, and then in a little while, another 5 cards. Or you use it as a way to say, all right, nobody blow up my Mind Crusher. The person that blows up my Mind Crusher is going to get milled for 5. So, possible deterrent.
In which case, Mike blows it up immediately.
Mike's
like, sweet, kill it.
And if you are really running into something where you just want to use a Laboratory Maniac or whatever, you do have the option to target yourself. It does say target player. That's what I got.
There's also a few other interesting blue and green creatures with Undying that would be neat to look at. Let's see. And my last suggestion is Fangren Firstborn. For 1 green, so it might be a little difficult to cast, but I'm sure you'll be able to find a way. It's a 4/2 beast. Oh, cool, it's a beast. Whenever Fangren Firstborn attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on each attacking creature. And that includes itself.
Yeah, he gets out of hand fast if you let him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, just by himself, he's efficient. And the first time he attacks, he's a 5/3. But once again, any of our extra counter shenanigans starts to get a little crazy.
Nice. Well, for my last one, I'm going to pull a Dirk and steal 2. Because I liked both of these and didn't know which one to go with. And they're the same idea.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm totally cheating. I have Titan Forge, which is for 3 mana. It's a rare artifact from Mirrodin Besieged. You pay 3 and tap it to put a charge counter on it. Pir adds 2, so yay. And then you tap it and remove 3 charge counters to get a 9/9 Golem token. Which, doubling season, blah, 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 whatever. But the other one is Lux Cannon, which is the same idea. For 4 mana, you tap it. It's a mythic from Scars of Mirrodin. You tap it to put a charge counter on it, and then you tap it and remove 3 charge counters to destroy target permanent. So they're both just getting accelerated.
Yeah. I guess you could also throw Magistrate Scepter in there.
No.
Okay, sorry.
You could if you're a terrible human being.
Yep, I scrolled right past that. I was like, you know what? No. But yeah, you totally could. Because again, same idea.
And as another card, you could easily throw in Vigor.
You could throw in Vigor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you wanted to be a terrible, terrible person, put something that says, if damage would be dealt to another creature you control, prevent it, and put some +1/+1 counters on it instead.
Yeah, that seems good.
Yeah.
There aren't that many ways to, like, keep your Toothy from killing you.
No.
It's really weird.
There aren't many situations where you would actually, want to remove +1/+1 counters from your own stuff unless they're specifically being used to pay a cost for something else, like the Ooze Flux that Dirk found.
Yeah.
Yeah. Throw a power conduit in there just for fun. It's like, Toothy, I need you to shrink by 1, and you over there, get bigger by 2. Whoa, that sounds like a pretty good deal, actually.
Well, and additional things that, ones that I've been thinking about, but in terms of counters, would be the Thalids. They're a potential route.
Mm-hmm.
With Pir. There really is a ton of different pathways you could easily go with this.
Yeah.
And we went more or less the +1/+1 counter because that seems to synergize better.
And we've got a decent number of planeswalkers too, but yeah.
Yeah. But the one thing with this is that you do not have to go the +1/+1 route because Toothy will just get big by himself without any help. Whereas Pir can easily do things like the +1/+1 counters. Wouldn't he also, if we're going to do the Darksteel Citadel?
Oh God, don't do
Or
that.
reactor, you mean?
The reactor, yeah.
Ugh.
Doesn't he technically make the reactor work?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, he works with the Helix.
The Helix.
The green X, just spend 100 mana, win the
Helix
game.
Pinnacle.
Oh my God!
Now you only have to spend 50 mana. Congratulations.
Sick.
But you're halfway there, so. But again, there's just there are a lot of things that could be done to make this crazy and to make a really good commander deck with them, or make a deck whatever with them. There are so many potential pathways.
Yeah, it can get ridiculous fast with these two.
Mm-hmm.
I really do find the idea of the Toothy donate that came up earlier very amusing.
Yeah, Toothy Donate Boomerang is kind of funny. Someone would be like, how many cards do you have left in your deck? And you pick it up, 15. You know your Toothy's a 23/23, right? Yeah. Okay. Brian goes, like, I want to just kill it, but I don't want to put Mike out of the game. Mike's like, no, do what you got to do, man.
Okay.
Wouldn't the original Garrick work too? Because doesn't he have the built-in overrun as his limit break?
He does.
Yeah, and it's pretty cheap too.
So I mean, if Toothy got to be a 23/23, you'd just be like, I do his limit break attack with Toothy.
Does Titanic Ultimatum put counters?
No, it's also the wrong color.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. We got white in there. So.
And red.
And red.
Yeah. But it's green too.
But wait, no, it does add counters, doesn't it?
Does it? I thought it just gave a temporary
5
Hang on,
plus
I'm
1/+1 counters.
No, it's just +5/+5. Okay.
Okay.
No, there's that other big ass spell that does that. The green one.
Decree of Savagery.
Decree, yeah. That adds counters.
Yes. Put 4 +1/+1 counters on each creature you control.
Yeah. But even when you cycle it.
There's also, I'm trying to think, there's this green spell from Innistrad, and it was rare, and it put counters, and it was crazy. I'm going to look it up real quick. Green.
Yeah, you might have to narrow that one down.
Yeah, sorry, I realize it's not very...
It's a green thing, and it counters and crazy.
I can see it in my head.
Ooh, what's it look like?
It's got a guy wolfing out, which in Innistrad block is...
Yeah, gotta narrow that one down too.
I'll be back with you in just a sec.
You sure? Yeah, I guess if someone's wolfing out, it's totally from Innistrad.
It's definitely from Innistrad. I remember this thing, like, it's not from Innistrad, it might be from Dark Age. Was there a way to search by block in Innistrad?
Not anymore.
Oh, they took it out of
They
format.
took the filter out?
Yeah. Oh, wait, no, it's down at the bottom. They've just removed... Okay, so Innistrad. And you said it was what?
A
Green?
green sorcery. Pretty sure it's a sorcery.
An original Innistrad, or...
Yeah, pretty sure it's in the original Innistrad block.
Okay, hang on. We're on a search for Brian's mystery card. Blessings of Nature.
Blessings of Nature.
No, that's... Distribute 4 +1/+1 counters among any number of target creatures. That's not it.
No, but that still sounds good.
That was the little one. Are you thinking of the Big Miracle?
Wait, was it Miracles? It was the Miracle.
That was just a guy getting giant, not wolfing out.
Oh.
Well, okay. Well, no, I think that might be what I'm thinking of. Let me just do a search for Miracle, right? Miracle. Miracle.
I can't even remember what the hell it's called. I can't find it.
Oh, that was Blessings of Nature. The Miracle.
No, that was the little one. There was a bigger one.
There was a big
The one I'm thinking of is Revenge of the Hunted, which is a miracle card. I remember this card, and I remember hating this card because it just feels like, oh, look what I top decked, and you're dead. So for 4, 2 green to sorcery, until end of turn, target creature gets +6/+6 and gains trample, and all creatures able to block it this turn do so. And as Miracle of a Green, it's until end of turn, it's not counters. So
okay.
there I had in my head. I keep thinking of these things that I'm like, lots of counters, and they don't actually do counters. So
Yeah, I can see why you would forget that though, because the little Miracle does have counters, and then the big Miracle is terrifying.
yeah, and I think of the big Miracle was the rare, and that's the one that destroyed me. The Blessings of Nature, 4+1/+1 counters among any number of target creatures seems pretty good.
Yeah,
Especially if you top it for a green. Which again, doubling, blah, 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 blah. So.
yeah. All right then. So there you go. By all means, listeners, let us know what you guys would or have, since they've been out for a while, do or have done with Pir and Toothy for a commander deck. Nice. I love the way Dirk's nostalgia always comes out. Have you noticed Feral Throwback comes out for Dirk a lot?
It happens occasionally.
Yeah.
It's just that Feral Throwback even if it's just there was absolutely no beasts in it. With Forgotten Ancients, you could throw counters onto him, and all of a sudden, he's now just going, that guy's dead.
Mhm.
That guy's dead. But it's just that you have your big hit. We all have our decks where you've got the big guy who wrecks everything, and then you've got the guys in the back who are the support guys who have no business attacking, but they have abilities where they get to do all the fun stuff. Feral Throwback is a way of saying, I'm not going to block your big guy, but your support guys are gone. And he's really good at removing those guys. And that's the reason why I like Feral Throwback.
Feral Throwback was also the pre-release promo for Legion, so I'm pretty sure each of us had one.
Yeah. And I know that it was in my beast deck back then for the longest time, because if it survived, then it, was awful.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, hell yeah. So, should we stop there?
I think this is probably a pretty good place to stop.
So, listeners, some announcements real quick. It doesn't look like we'll actually be recording next week because half of our cast will be MIA. But hopefully, starting the week after that, if we record that week, was that a knock on my door?
Which we should be.
Yeah, we just.
I think that's actually when there will actually be preview cards for Commander, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think. Hang on. Previews start July 23rd, according to this. So yeah, we will be doing that week, whether Mike is with us or not. Got it. Okay, because previews. But anyway, so you'll notice this episode, depending on how long this rambling goes, might be a little shorter than you're used to, and that's on purpose. We're gonna try real hard to condense episodes so that they're only as long as they need to be. Like last week's was really long, but we were on topic the whole episode.
Yeah.
For the most part, which is amazing for us. This week's we got started a little later than we meant to, but we're still going to go ahead and stop after one story circle because just going on and on and on at length for no reason other than, well, that's just what we do, is silly, and it causes like Dirk and Brian to, miss going to bed. That's why half the time, they leave before the episode's actually over. It's because it's freaking late and this episode's gone on long enough. So we're going to try real hard to condense episodes to where, again, they're only as long as they need to be. Like right now, ordinarily, I would have said, all right, let's do another story circle. But it's late.
Yeah.
So we're not going to do that. Now, the other announcement that I started to make is that hopefully starting with the next episode, which will be the Commander previews, which will be week after next, we're going to start live streaming the podcast.
Yeah, buddy.
Now, not to the same extent that episode 500 was. I don't think we're all going to do face cams or anything like that. I'm going to set up some things with the dork faces so you can see, but I might have mine on just because I always have mine on. But that's a thing we're going to be doing. Now, don't worry if you are not able to watch the Twitch stream. Nothing will change as far as the podcast goes. I will still be recording it and ripping the audio out, same as always, and turning it into a podcast, so nothing will change there. But we will be occasionally responding to chat, and you will probably hear follows and bits being thrown and all that comes from Twitch. More than you already do when I forget to turn it off. So, yes. So we record on Thursday nights. Hopefully around, before 8 o'clock, the actual episode will start. The odds and ends won't be streamed because that's for patrons. So we will be sitting here shooting the breeze doing that. And then we will go live with the actual podcast, and then we will kill the stream and do the post-show odds and ends. So again, for patrons, nothing will change. For regular podcast listeners, nothing will change. But for those of you that are around and want to join us live on Thursdays, you totally can. And in theory, this will also be the case for Monday Night Magic. In theory.
It'll be like the old days of the call-in episodes.
Sort of, yeah. Except I never did those because that seemed like a terrible idea. But
yeah.
Now we're not going to do that next week for Monday Night Magic because we're going to be recording on Tuesday nights or Tuesday night next week because Clues there's some reason Clues wanted to do Tuesday and we said okay, sure. So there you go. But yeah, so twitch.tv/themanapool will be where you can catch the podcasts live. The first few I'm sure will be a little weird until we get used to it, but should be pretty good. Was that it? I guess that was it, yeah. So hopefully, I don't want to say shorter episodes because that makes it sound like we're removing content, but I think instead of doing another thing and this won't take long and it ends up taking an extra hour, which is
it's the curse of the one last game.
Yeah, just one more game, you guys. That always ends up being the worst game of the night.
Always.
And we always ended up feeling miserable and being like, I really wish we hadn't played that stupid game because now I kind of don't like you. And I'd be like, I'm sorry, I'll leave your house then. But yeah, we're going to try to have episodes going as long as they need to rather than an arbitrary, let's hit 2 hours and then stop. So, now if the episode needs to be 2 hours plus like last week's, they totally will be. Obviously, because we did that last week. So, yay!
Yeah. Hopefully this is a very positive change for everybody, but let us know what you think.
Yeah, I mentioned on Twitter, after we had our staff meeting, the Dorks had a staff meeting. For the first time in 10.5 years, we had a staff meeting.
Yeah.
And kicked around...
Well, yeah, pretty much.
Kicked around some future show ideas and... did some scheduling things to figure out when people weren't going to be available and whatnot. And then I presented the idea of live streaming. The Dorks were like, sure. So I went on Twitter and said, I'm very excited. We have some changes to the Manic Pool coming that will hopefully, that people will hopefully enjoy or like or whatever I said. And the first 3 responses were, should I be worried? I'm like, no! What the hell?
Brought to you by Sprint.
I know. I know Magic players, by and large, fear change, but it'll be fine. Everybody calm down.
It really will be fine, yeah.
But anyway. So that's...
Coming at you in quadraphonic sound.
Whoa. Everyone gets a free hat. 2 if Pir is on the battlefield. Sorry, that's hydroponic. Never mind. I'm thinking of something else. So, how about some final thoughts? That should be everything, right? All the things I wanted to say? Yeah, so, sorry, no episode next week, but the week after that will be Commander 2018 previews. Yay! So, okay. Dirk, what you got?
I
know, right?
Yeah. I really don't have anything. I did have a job interview that I went to. I honestly don't know. I was hoping that if I was going to hear anything, I'd hear it today, because my issue is that my contract with the current system I'm in says that if I'm going to give my resignation, it has to be no less than 30 days. So that means as of right now, I would actually be teaching next semester, the upcoming semester, and for about a week, and then I would be going to my new job, like a new science teacher position. But I didn't hear back today, and at the interview he said that he was going to be on vacation next week, and I'm going, well, I'm pretty sure at this point, if
Guess I'm not taking it then.
I mean, the honest answer is that at this point, I don't know if I could really take it, because by the time he gets back, if he calls, it will actually be in the required teacher work days for the new school year at the new job before I will actually be able to teach there, because I'll still be teaching at my old school. I will have been teaching for almost 3 or 4 weeks before, I would start my new job.
Yeah, that'd be a pretty awkward transition.
Yeah, that would be a very weird one. So I'd say today was sort of the day of, if he was going to call, today really needed to have been that day. Tomorrow, I could still potentially be like, okay, yeah, I would be willing to do that. But unless he plans on calling me during his vacation, be like, yeah, sure, I'm pretty sure that I cannot accept the position. Mostly because it's taken him so freaking long to decide, yes, let's do some interviews. So
Seems, everybody's starting back at about the same time, so it seems a little odd that they would still be making those decisions at this point.
Well, it's the I don't know if you got all the ConnectEd messages, Brian, but they did a whole bunch of principal shuffling.
Oh, okay.
And when I say a whole bunch, I don't mean
actually,
like they shuffled 5 principals around the county. In 2 separate ConnectEds, they shuffled somewhere between 15 principals and assistant principals.
That's
Good
a lot.
Lord.
Yeah,
I do remember
they
that.
shuffled a lot of people around. The guy I interviewed with, he and the assistant principal both are new at the school because they just got moved into those positions.
Huh.
So it's just one of the things where I don't know. It might be doing me a favor by holding off. That way, give them a year to sort of get the floors set in the county. So I don't know, but yeah, it's been a little weird this week. I guess that would be my final thoughts on the whole thing.
All right then. What you got, Brian?
Let's see. For final thoughts, I don't know that I have a whole lot. I hope that everyone's doing well. I hope that going forward you enjoy the new format. I hesitate to say that because, like Chewie said, we're not changing the way the show really works. We're still here to talk about Magic. We're still here to give the same content we've been doing, just slightly different way between streaming, which people seem to like, and then really watching the content of what we're doing. And do we need to be doing it for as long? I'm sure some people listen to us, especially on long drives and things, and they love the long episodes, and I like doing some of those too. But the expectation of doing it every time is a bit. It makes it harder to consistently put out good stuff. So, but I just appreciate everybody's feedback over the last almost 11 years now. I just celebrated my 11th anniversary with Carrie, and it's always easy to remember that, I got married the same year I started the Mana Pool. Joined the Mana Pool, I should say. The Chewie started the pool. So, easy things to remember.
Oh yeah, by the time I realized what day it was to tell you happy anniversary, it was like 11:30, and I went, I'll just send him a message tomorrow. And then, nope. So, hey, happy late anniversary, my friend.
Carrie's birthday was actually yesterday, so
Huh.
that's more timely.
Happy late birthday, Carrie.
There we go. Felt weird to kind of say so. Are you gonna? I'll be sure to tell her you thought of it all on your own. So.
No, Carrie should be like, how does he know when my birthday is?
Oh, and real quick, while the listeners don't necessarily need to know this because I don't know how much longer I'll be on after the call, just because, sleepiness and getting ready for a trip and all that. But we had talked about trying to get together at some point, and if you guys want to look at your calendars over the next couple of weeks and tell me if you think the 25th would work, that of August, I should say, 25th of August.
Oh, it was like a Wednesday?
Just let me know. But, and then maybe we'll have some live content coming out of that. Ooh.
Crazy.
So, yeah. Did Chewy or Mike get to do a pre-release? I know
Nope.
Chewy was like, okay.
I didn't. Yeah, stuff happened and I wasn't able to make it out anywhere.
Okay.
Yeah, and
But that's
without a fellow dork going, I didn't feel the need to spend the money, so
I got you. Well, that's pretty much my final thought.
All right. Beardy Man?
Let's see. My final thought was pretty much basically going to be that I wasn't able to make it out to any pre-releases, and I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to try for Friday Night Magic tomorrow night. But yeah, I'll see. I don't have much of a substantive final thought today.
Well,
Yeah.
numbers and reading and thinking are hard, so.
Right. Yeah, I used up all my good cognition earlier. It didn't take very long.
It was the doubling season in Pir math is what did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for me then, I am Batman. Did you know that?
Actually, I had my suspicion.
Yeah. Was it the facial hair or the pear shape? But I've been playing on stream Batman Arkham City, and longtime listeners will probably remember that I used to rant and rave about how brilliant Arkham City was. Because back in the day, whenever I was playing a game, I would harp about it on the show. It was Rock Band, State of Decay, Arkham City, the Halo Wars, various games that I would get really into, and then come to the show and be like, oh my god, you guys. Because back in the day, we didn't have a pre-show and a post-show. It was hop on, everybody ready? Hit record, go.
Oh, yeah.
Very much.
So, but yeah, I've been playing Arkham City on stream, and I had forgotten, I knew I loved the game, intellectually, I knew I loved the game. I forgot how much I loved the game. It is almost a perfect game in my eyes. It's so amazing. The combat is great, and the density of things to do in Arkham City, because it's an open world game, but it's not a world, it's part of a city. So everything's very compact. And going from point A to point B, you can find 3 things to distract you, even if A and B are across the street. And there's so much to do. Someone in my stream said, this game must be a completionist's nightmare. And I went, maybe? If they're on a schedule? Because I 100%ed Arkham City back in the day on the 360 until the Robin DLC came out, and I didn't actually get all the achievements for that for some reason. But, I did all of the everything. I did New Game Plus, where you play it again. I don't remember what the point of New Game Plus is, but I did it. And all the challenges, and with all 4 characters, because you could play as Batman and Catwoman and Nightwing and Robin once all the DLCs came out.
Mm.
And it was so good. So good. And playing it on stream, every time I've played it on stream, I've had to force myself to stop because, holy crap, you guys, it's 1 or 2 in the morning. I gotta stop streaming now. So good. But that's what I've been streaming lately, along with, good lord. I played some Minion Masters, and strategical card-based minion combat game. It's very strange, but it was enjoyable. The Walking Dead I've been playing. I did a pinball stream after on the 4th, after hanging out with the parents all night, doing the family thing. I came back and played some Pinball FX3. Overwatch, of course, Hearthstone, of course, stuff like that. I stream a lot of stuff over on twitch.tv/themanapool. Soon, the podcasts as well. So, come hang out. If you enjoy games at all, I'm almost certain I play something that you'll like, or will eventually. So if you have any suggestions, by all means, throw them at me. Although I probably won't play them because I have so many other games that I really want to play. But still, suggestions are always welcome. That's the reason that I was playing something that I just... Party Hard and Plague Inc. I streamed those once, and I've been turning the Plague Inc. Runs into YouTube content. At youtube.com/themanapool, where lots of my stream stuff ends up getting edited, cut up and edited up, and put on YouTube, in case you couldn't come to the stream or don't feel like watching through a 5-hour stream, which I can't say I'll blame you if you're watching it later. Then I put some of the high notes on YouTube. And that's pretty much it, yeah. Also, Monday Night Magic, me and Bill and Clues go over all the tournament results and all the news. By the way, did you guys know with the latest Core Set 2019 update, they've changed who owns tokens again?
No.
It's pretty subtle, but there are some functional changes here and there.
What? Well, for the tokens, it's not subtle at all. It used to be that whoever created or controlled the effect that made the tokens owned the tokens. So if you played like a hunted dragon, then you owned the knights that your opponent had. And at some point they changed it to be whoever's
control they entered under.
Yeah, so so now when you play hunted dragon, your opponent gets 3 knights and they own the knights for the purposes of things that say number of whatever you own.
Yeah.
And now they're changing it to whoever controlled the effect that created them again. And they're making it sound like that it's always been the previous way in the release notes. It's like, up until now, whoever got the tokens owned them, but now we're changing that. And I'm like, you already changed it to that once. Do you remember that? Hello, Bueller? But I noticed that
they're probably banking on people not, going back that far.
I guess. But like they changed it because it was confusing. Because there was some spell in particular, some sort of red thing that you shuffled up. You counted up the number of things that you owned, and then you shuffled them up and flipped cards from the top. I can't remember what it was.
Chaos? Not Chaos.
Warp World?
Warp World, yeah. And like people, apparently, this is what my brain is telling me. I don't remember if this is right or not, but there was something going on with Warp World where people were casting like Hunted Dragon and then Warp World to get 3 extra things. And it was confusing. So I don't know if that's why they changed it. I just remembering this sticking out in my head. This might have been the example that they used for it.
Mm-hmm.
But that was confusing, in air quotes. So they switched it to whoever gets the token owns it. Like, okay, so if you tap the Forbidden Orchard and give your opponent a spirit, they own the spirit. Right, got it. And now that's confusing, so they're changing it back. I'm like, whatever, man. Just say no one owns the tokens. That won't be confusing at all. But yeah, there are several little changes in the thing. They're bringing Pangolin back as a beast, a creature type, and Trilobite, oddly enough. Trilobite? Trilobite. Trilobite. Try a little bite. It's delicious.
Is that like Netflix and Trilobite?
Yeah, Netflix and Trilobite, yeah.
Trilobite, yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry, that just ended up turning into a small little rant. I don't know why they changed it back. I don't know. But we talk about stuff like that on Monday Night Magic in greater depth. And tournament results and how the meta looks and stuff like that. But anyway, if there's also all the social medias, just all of them. I'm going to have a Discord server working soon for anyone that's into that sort of thing. I'm going to have like a channel for Hearthstone and a channel for Magic and a channel for, I don't know, Shooting the Breeze, whatever. If I asked once, hey, help me out, throw me some ideas, and I think it was on an Odds and Ends, and I got a really good suggestion from Corey, who actually just found it in my email. Like, oh, hey, look, this is still here. Sweet, I need this. But yeah, if a Discord server is a thing that interests you, soon the Manapool Discord server will be up and running, and I will have a link in the show notes and all that. So cool, come hang out with your fellow Manapool fans, and I'll be in there all the time as well. And these guys probably won't, but they don't internet, so.
No comment.
Yeah, see, exactly. But if you want to help support what I do with all of this ridiculous amount of content creation that I do, 2 podcasts a week and all the streams and YouTube videos, then by all means, the most direct way to do that monetarily is through Patreon at patreon.com/themanapool, where you can get Manapool episodes and YouTube videos early. You can get the odds and ends, all the stuff recorded before and after both Monday Night Magic and the Manapool, which is uncensored and unfiltered, just a behind-the-scenes look at what we do and how we do it, and you get to find out why we started so late today, and why we started so late on Monday for Monday Night Magic. You can learn both of these stories. I wonder if Clues got arrested. I didn't get a message from him today, so he might have. Huh. No, really, he was gonna possibly have a federal agent come to his house. But anyway, that's an odds and ends thing. So you'll have to go be a patron. And if you are exceptionally generous, you can become a Patreon lifeguard, which gets you the early stuff, the odds and ends, and the shout out on both podcasts, and the spot on the end slate for all the videos that go up each month that you support at that tier. And so to that end, I'd like to thank the Manapool lifeguards: Kim Ho, Andrew Hunt, Al, Paul David, Lance Delicious, Team U Hellas Are You, John Morris, Stuart Slaw, PJ McMullen, Bosco Brittain, Casey, Nathan Hay, Danny Liao. This happened on Monday Night Magic. I was reading this off and I had to sneeze. Nope, not gonna do it. Jason Doan, AJ Javieras, Cody Buckowing, Jake Jansons, Jason Kaus, Brian DeLucci, Stark Maximum, John Parker, Dan Holm, Bartle, Mike Millerburn, and the Beast Father, Aaron Goodwine. Thank you all so very much for your support. I couldn't do it without you, along with all the rest of the patrons. Thank you all so very much. And don't forget, going back to the Twitch channel, if you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free Twitch subscription a month. Please link your Amazon account and your Twitch account and go give that to a streamer, preferably a small streamer, preferably me, but if you don't give it to me, please give it to a smaller scale streamer, because we really do appreciate it. You'll just make our day, I assure you. So yes, and you have to do that every month, by the way. I'm going to keep reminding people of this, because there are a lot of people who are like, oh yeah, I need to do that. And then they're like, have you done it yet? And they're like, oh no, I need to. So get on that. But it only takes a minute, I assure you. But that will be it for this episode of the Manapool, which was 517, I think.
I think so.
Yes. So let me check the time that this ended up being. Oh, it is still shorter. Sweet. So one more time, no show next week, at least no podcast, and the week after that we should be live on Twitch, so come hang out. And now I'm gonna shut up. So thank you all so very much for listening, and go play some Magic.